Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLuga. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Tuesday, July 16th. Right now, we're looking at 5 ways the Jaguars offense can improve in 2024. They certainly had some highs in 2023, some lows as well. They're trying to get back to kind of how they were operating late in that 2022 season when Trevor Lawrence and the offense went scorched earth at times on the NFL. The Jaguars were incredibly difficult to beat. They took the Chiefs to the brink in the playoffs. The offense is trying to get back closer to that and even find some more balance than they had during that stretch. But we're going to look at it here today. 5 ways the Jaguars offense can improve in 2024. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. Hit that like button, notification bell so you don't miss a show. You can also check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear. We've got pre-orders for the hat I am wearing right now. That is a hot item, something that usually sells out pretty quick. So you can go check it out, genjag.com/shop. You can become a channel member here on YouTube. And be sure to check out over on UCF Jaguars channel tomorrow. We are going live with our first episode of Club Jaguar. That's going to be me, UCF Jaguar, and Jason from Jaguars United. Go check that out. But getting into these 5 ways the Jaguars offense can improve in 2024. Number 1, less screens, man. They ran screens like it was going out of style last year. And there's a reason for that. There's a big reason for that. And that's actually going to be the second way the Jaguars offense can improve in 2024, which is better pass protection. And a lot of this hinges on injuries on the left side of the offensive line. You've also had Anton Harrison, a rookie who did a tremendous job on the right side, but he was going up against some of the best pass rushers in football, left side of that defensive line, right side of the offensive line. Anton Harrison did a tremendous job despite battling through a shoulder injury in pass protection. But when you look at some other spots in pass pro for the offensive line, you talk about center. Luke Fortner was one of the, if not the worst starting center in the league last year. Nothing against him at all. I liked the pick when the Jaguars made it. It has not worked out. The Jaguars rightly pivoted. They now have Mitch Morse, who is a veteran. He is a good pass protector. He's also a pretty good run blocker. He's a very good athlete. He's a leader. He's smart. He's experienced. So they massively upgraded that spot. They did. They went from a way below average starting center to an above average starting center, borderline top 10 type of center in this league. And a guy who has experience with Doug Peterson and, again, has the athleticism that Doug Peterson knows how to weaponize as a offensive coach. So I think that having Mitch Morse there at center, having potential health on the left side of the offensive line, whether it's Cam Robinson or Walker Little in the starting lineup, I think you're fine there at left tackle. And then Ezra Cleveland, hopefully fully healthy for the 2024 season, or at least for most of it. As soon as he got to Jacksonville last year, he was injured, so you weren't seeing Ezra Cleveland, the guy that had been a starter for the Minnesota Vikings his entire career. You're seeing the hobbled version of Ezra Cleveland in Jacksonville. So they're hoping that the combination of a healthy Ezra Cleveland, Mitch Morse taking over at center, Brandon Sheriff obviously at right guard, who is still one of the best pass protecting guards in the league. Bottom line, Anton Harrison in year 2, who, again, he did a great job in pass protection as a rookie. They're hoping that gives them the confidence to be able to open up the playbook a little bit more, to be able to protect Trevor Lawrence a little bit better, both on the edges and from the interior. And you're hoping that a healthy offensive line also just leads to more cohesion, more chemistry between the group. When you have guys constantly rotating in and a center playing at a really low level, it makes things incredibly difficult for that entire offensive line, especially from left tackle to right guard. It was difficult. It absolutely was. And so better offensive line play can lead to less screens. When you don't feel like you have the offensive line to attack down the field, to attack intermediate and vertical at times consistently, you're going to see more screens. You saw it with the Jaguars. You saw it with the Titans. Now, the Jaguars are still going to run screens, wide receiver screens, bubble screens, all that stuff. But at a much lower clip is what it should be. And again, less screens and better pass protection are the first two. Better receiving execution as well. How many times did you see a receiver just barely not get his feet down in bounds, drop the football, run the wrong route when Trevor Lawrence put an absolute dime on him? How many times did you see that? And again, I'm not saying that receivers have to consistently make unbelievable plays, but you've got to make professional plays as professional receivers, right? You've got to. And so you need better receiving execution. Again, from a route running and timing standpoint, catch point standpoint, and getting your feet down in bounds. All these things need to improve from the receivers. I think Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram both did a very good job last year. Now you've got Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr., who simply need to execute better than Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones did. Of course, Zay Jones was playing through injury. Calvin Ridley coming back from being suspended, not playing football for almost 2 years. You need better execution from the receivers in 2024 than you had in 2023, particularly the outside guys, Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis. I'm not saying they need to elevate this football team more than Calvin Ridley has the potential to do, but they just need to make the plays that are there. If they make the plays that are there more often than not, this is going to be a completely different offense in 2024 than it was in 2023. Bottom line, it will be. Now, you also need a more focused rushing attack with better run blocking. I think that those things go hand in hand, and you need backs that are not going to make errors, right? Travis Etienne had a very good start to the 2023 campaign. I think he played admirably throughout. He's still working to grow in terms of his vision and his timing. But it also comes down to the run blocking. Like, these guys have got to do a better job run blocking. Now, Mitch Morse is a much better run blocker than Luke Fortner. Ezra Cleveland is a much better run blocker than Ben Barch, Tyler Shatley. Those are the guys you were going into 2023 with as your starters at left guard, potentially. He's much better in that regard. Anton Harrison, you're hoping gets better in year 2 as a run blocker. Brandon Sheriff is an adequate run blocker. Cam Robinson, Walker Little at left tackle, adequate run blockers. So for me, you need to be more focused in your run blocking, and they've talked about how they're going to be switching it up and having more 3-point stances in the run game than they did last year, than 2-point stances. We'll see how that plays out. But you need to have better run blocking, and the rushing attack needs to be more focused. What I mean by that, we've talked about it here. They ran way too many concepts in the running game last year. They need to get to some bread and butter plays. They need to get to some things that they can execute at a high level consistently and then build off of that. They didn't really do that in 2023. If they can do that in 2024 with better personnel, hopefully more health on the offensive line, they could be in better shape. And they should be. Final way this offense can and needs to improve, Doug Peterson needs to get back in the lab and back to play calling duties. This is a major year for him. This is a vitally important year for him. If things don't improve on the offensive side of the ball, and he's not the one with his fingerprints all over the offense, it's more of a Press Taylor called offense, that's a mistake for Doug Peterson. One of the reasons Doug Peterson is such a great coach is his play calling ability, his situational play calling ability, his ability to set things up throughout games. There's no reason for Doug Peterson to not be much more involved in the play calling in 2024. So those are the 5 ways I believe the Jaguars can improve their offense in 2024. Obviously, there's more than that, but if they're able to execute on 3-4 of those things, they're going to have a much better looking offense in 2024 than they did in 2023. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up a hat like the one I am wearing right now. Become a channel member here on YouTube. Y'all have a good one.